Hey everyone, this is the third video on going over the new Tempus Pro monitor for our station. So this video I'm going to go over some other operations and a lot of what these buttons do along the outside of the monitor itself. So first and foremost, this is a touchscreen monitor, so if you touch anything on the screen it's going to take you to a different selection, and you can use this to navigate whatever you may need to, and then once you're done you can hit the back button, and that's every screen. Okay, so this is fully touch screen capable. So if you accidentally touch something, say you accidentally touch the temperature, you can hit one of two buttons. Either you can hit this back button or you can hit the house. Okay, the house is home. It's like the square button on the Samsung or the little circle button on your iPhone. You hit that and it takes you back to the home screen. And so if you ever get yourself lost, just hit that home button and that's where it takes you. Okay, the only other screen that we're really worried about on the home screen right here. Okay, we went over the start for the blood pressure. There's also, if we're going to do a 12 lead, there's this fancy little button that says 12 lead right here. You press that button and it will automatically take you to the 12 lead screen. From here you can hit start record and do all that. The one thing that it didn't do is it didn't ask me for patient information, so I'll have to go back on that and show you guys how to do that. So let's go over the buttons really quick on the outside. So that was a 12 lead button. So let's go over these other buttons. So this button, this blue button, the blue triangle button, if I push this button on the top right hand corner, it says alarm suspended. It suspends all alarms for 15 minutes. So if it's something really, the alarm keeps on going off, say you have a patient that's, their heart rate's too low or their blood pressure keeps on coming back too high or too low, and you're getting tired of pushing this orange button, you can push that button and it silences it for 15 minutes. Just remember that if you do that, please pay attention to your patient. Okay, you should be doing that anyway, but it's even more so important. Push it again, turns it off. Okay, the orange button is that silence button. If you have an alarm that's active, you hit this, it silences the alarm for 2 minutes. Okay, and then you have to constantly recycle that. The next button on the screen, again, is that home button. It brings you back to this screen. So say we got lost, I'm just going to push a random button here, and it brings us to this screen. And I'm like, I don't want to be here. Hit that home button, takes you right back to where we want to be. The next button to this is an input-output menu. It's not much that we're going to use unless we're going to send out patient data to someone. We're not going to go over that in detail quite yet, but it is there. So I'm just going to hit the back button and keep on going through. So this third button is for those who want to get super fancy. This brings you up to a display menu. So you can pick which display you want. So right now the current display we're on is display number 2. There's other displays that you can pick. I'll just hit display number 1 just for an example. So you got to give it a second, and now you can see the display has changed. Now you have two waveforms, pleth wave. There's my capnometry. My 12 lead button is now here. My blood pressure button is now here. So it changed the way that the screen is laid out. So now if I were to go to a different, say I pushed the wrong button again, now if I hit the home screen, now that's going to be my display screen all the time. Again, I'm just going to have it set to display number 2 the whole time. So that way it's not super confusing. Everything should always be in the same spot. But if you do notice the display has been changed, it's this third button. It looks like a screen with a shadow behind it. Just hit that button and that'll bring up the display. The other thing that's nice on this is you can change your brightness. You can lock the touchscreen. But the other thing that's nice, if it's a bright day and you can't see the screen, you can turn on high contrast mode, and it makes it so you can see the screen a little bit better in sunlight. if in direct sunlight. So you can see this is what it looks like. It's super bright. So let me turn high contrast off so we can all see it. Hit the back button. It's going to take a second. And there we go. Now we're back to the home screen. Okay, the 3 Amigos button right here, this is your patient menu. I'm not going to go super detail with this, okay? This is if we have a patient that we're working on and we actually want to use this as our main charting, then we can use this patient menu. Sorry, I'm doing something here really quick. Okay, so there's not much to it. The telephone buttons, this does have 4G capabilities. So if we need to do telemetry for some reason, or it has orders, it has 4G capability. I'm not going to use those buttons for any reason, so I'm going to leave that up to you guys if you want to do that. So moving right along, this is your battery button. It's when the unit is turned off that you should see if your battery amount. But again, you should be able to see that when you turn the unit on as well. And this should always be plugged in. So moving to the right side of our monitor. So this top one that has a camera with squigglies. So this is a snapshot of a EKG. So if I see something, or we're doing something, or maybe it's a treatment and I need a continuous run or a snapshot or anything like that, then I'm going to push this button and it's going to take a snapshot of whatever's on the screen at that time. Obviously right now it's not going to work, but it is there. I'm going to skip this button for a second because there's a lot to this one, and I'm going to come down to this home and the screen button where it has the double arrows. So this basically just goes, if you were to hold down, I believe, on the circle button on the iPhone, or your 3 lines button on your Samsung, it takes you to all your previous screens. That's what this does. So if I had any previous screens that I had, it would show me what I went to. The last button that's on this right hand side is this little blue button that's here on the bottom. So this is the main menu. So this is where if you have anything that you want to change, patient menu, previous activity, you want to go to the camera, you want to go home, you want to change settings on the camera, anything like that, you can do all that. Right now you're not going to see anything because this back flap is closed. If I open this back flap, you'll see my TV and my vanity in my bedroom. So that's where the camera is. I'm not going to take a photo right now, but you can take a photo. So the other way to turn on the camera is if you hold this screenshot button, it does bring up the camera function. Okay, so that's the main menu button. So the other button that's on this is this notepad button. This is a very in-depth button. And the reason that is if you push this, you can chart your entire call with the monitor. You can put what events you have, what kind of assessment you've done. If you're doing a cardiac arrest assessment, it will say when you did it. You can put, you got ROSC. There's all sorts of different things. You need to look, it's all, maybe I did a defib shock. It can put that on there. And then we started pacing. So it's going to timestamp everything for you. Again, if you want to use this, awesome. It's handy because it timestamps everything. I'm just showing it to you guys so you're aware that it's here. If we give any kind of fluids, normal saline, I give normal saline. I can put a note in my normal saline on how much fluid I gave. So I want to say that I gave 250 mLs. So I can put that I gave 250 mLs. I can type it out if I want to. Okay, I can put drugs. All these drugs are in here. I can't even, paramedics in the system can't even give, 90% of what's on there. But it's on there. Okay, and then there's scores. You can actually put your GCS score on here. If you push GCS and you're like, yeah, okay, maybe this. You can hit the help button and it actually tells you each one. Does not open eyes and painful, to voice or spontaneously. So you can actually chart your GCS score. You can chart your burns, your injuries, what treatments you did, if you had an open wound, and then where your open wound was at. We're going to put that it was on that guy right there. Maybe he had a fracture and he had a fracture on that arm. You know, so you can do all this on this monitor. So this is all under your vents. If I hit my summary, it shows what I did. Okay, so there's my note that I had. That was 250. Sorry. Okay, you can actually hit, and this is the other part that I was saying that I wanted to show you too, is if you do a fluid, you can actually put that I gave 250 mLs on that, and then it will show up 250. Okay, if anything that has a fill in, so I'll show you really quick. Let me go to a drug. Let me go to a drug I can actually give. So if I were to go into my summary now, and if I see drug amiodarone, I can actually put how I gave it, and then I can give the dose as per protocol. Okay, if I don't want to put that, I can put other, and then I can put how much I gave. Milligrams is already selected. So if you're giving, maybe you were giving D10, you can put that in here. If you're giving any kind of medication, maybe you're giving epinephrine, okay, you can hit your epinephrine button, and then, sorry, wrong button again. Hit your notepad if you get out, if you want to get out of, if you want to get back into here. Drug epinephrine, I can hit that. I can hit, I gave it IM. Okay, and then I can put that I gave, 1 milligram, or I gave 0.5 milligrams for those of you who are keeping track at home of what our actual protocol is. So I gave 0.5 milligrams IM at a certain time. So it'll timestamp it for me, so I can keep track of all that. Okay, and you can filter it to see what you did, if you did an EKG, what you want to see, if you gave fluids, what other markers you did, if you had anything in assessments. Okay, this is just when I did that. So anything that's fill-inable, you can do that. So like I said, this is a very in-depth button if you choose to use it. Okay, I'm not, obviously, it's totally up to you on how much you want to use it, or if you want to use it at all. If I want to get rid of something, I can hit delete, and it takes it out of my summary. Okay, this will show you, and the next button is trends. So this will show you your trends through the call. So if you're continually monitoring their heart rate, their SpO2 will show up in here. Table, it gives the same thing. This is your vitals, all of your trends, your vital signs in a table. Then it also shows you up here, anytime I had a time marker for anything, it shows me that's a little needle right there. Sorry, I was trying to push it, but this isn't touchscreen compatible on this part. That I gave a drug here, and then I gave a drug here. Okay, this is my patient. So I can put my patient information, I can put their name, their age, sex, their weight and height. If I want to put an ID, maybe their driver's license number or their social security number, I can put that in here. And then if they have any allergies. These are the major allergies that most people have. If there's other allergies that they have, you can put in other, and then you have to type in the allergy. And then medics, this is who's on your crew. If you choose to use this, you can put new, first, and last. So we're just going to put, just so I can show you guys how this works. And then there you go. So you can see that I was assigned to this at that time. You can add as many crew members as you want. And this just takes me, every time I push the back button here, it just takes me back to my last selection. So I want to go all the way back through. I just hit the home button, and now I'm back here. The other thing that I want to show you guys is the first time I pushed 12 lead, it took me right to the 12 lead. I don't have any patient information entered yet, so now if I hit 12 lead, it comes up with this information. So in the previous one, whenever we'd hit 12 lead, it always asked for age and sex. This does the same thing. As soon as you hit 12 lead, you have to hit, it asks for age and sex. So we're going to put 35-year-old male and then hit OK. And now it's going to come up with the 12 lead screen. Okay, so I know that was a lot of information, especially with this little notepad button. If you choose to use it, good on you. If you choose not to use it, good on you. I'm not going to be stringent either way. So I hit this home screen button just so you guys could see. It took me to this previous screen. If I hit it again, in the no previous activity available. So it only takes you back as how many different activities you've had. I know this was a longer video, but there's a lot of options with this little notepad button. So again, just a brief, quick, silence 15, silence for 2, home, data transmit, display, patient info, snapshot and camera. This is your notepad, it's your home switch display or your previous activity screen, and then your main menu. Okay, so if you guys have any questions on the buttons, let me know. Other than that, just come down to the station sometime and just play with the monitor. It's going to be down there plugged into the rescue. Alright guys, thanks.